Somewhere out there, beneath the pale moonlight, someone's thinking of me and loving me tonight.
Welcome to Sitcoms Anonymous, your podcast for everything about TV. I'm your host this week, Andrew. My other host, Sean, is not here with us, but we have a special guest host, and that would be...
I'm Bernadette.
Bernadette is, if you might remember from our Saved by the Bell commentary, was the one piping up, a little scared to get involved, but is ready to join in. This week we are going to be doing Community. We're going to be specifically doing the episode of Community, Introduction to Statistics. It's a first season episode. It's one of my favorites. It's the first one I ever saw. Bernadette, how familiar were you with Community before this?
I was not.
No.
Except I knew that Chevy Chase was in it.
For the longest time, she thought it was Chevy Chase, and I had to correct her before we started doing the podcast, which makes me love her all the more because we are getting married this September. It's really funny that we're doing Community, and the reason why we're doing Community over Andy Griffith, which is what we said weeks and weeks ago, is that just a day ago, Community was canceled. Bernadette found me crying in my room because this is one of my favorite shows, and she was quite confused. And it's also, because it's a show about a college, it's very special because Bernadette just graduated the other day with her second master's, and we're very, very proud of her. So in the comment section, please give her congratulations. Do you like the show? I mean, we powered through the first 6 episodes to try to get you caught up a little bit.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it so far.
Do you think it's a show you'll stick with, or that you would watch if I wasn't here?
Yes.
Okay. Is it as good as Breaking Bad?
Well, you're comparing peas and carrots.
They're both vegetables.
But they're different types of vegetables. They're different textures.
Fair enough.
Different colors.
I personally think Community will go down as one of the great sitcoms.
But they canceled it.
But they also cancel Arrested Development. And Arrested Development went down as one of the great sitcoms, which that's something we'll need to watch. But we're watching Community today. So if you want to put in your DVD, or you want to get up on Hulu Plus or on the internet, go ahead and get it up. This is a podcast and a commentary. So set it to timestamp 0. You can listen to this and not have to watch it. We'll try to make it as easy to listen to, but it's fun to watch it with us. So go get it on timestamp 0, and we'll give you a second. Bernadette, could you pick a favorite Community character off the bat?
I like Pierce.
Pierce. Is it just because you're in general a Chevy Chase fan?
No, he's funny.
He's pretty good. I would have to say, for me, it's always come down to Troy and Abed, just because I felt a very specific kinship with Troy. But we'll get to that in the commentary. Okay, if everyone's ready, we're going to get ready. All right, go ahead and press play right now.
That's what I'm going to wear to school.
The ketchup?
The red outfit. And I'm going to put that scary skeleton on my desk.
Will you tell your children that if they don't turn in their math homework, it will eat their souls?
Maybe I'll just tell them it will eat them.
Eat them. This is the very first episode of Community I ever saw. My dad introduced me to it. And because when the show first came on, I thought it was sort of like a 30 Rock ripoff. Like, oh, look at this show with its old person that they're trying to make popular again, like Alec Baldwin. And I thought that was similar to Chevy Chase. And I like Joel McHale, but I only saw Joel McHale on The Soup, and I didn't know if he could act or not. The only thing I had seen him in acting-wise was Spider-Man 2, and he was only in it for like 5 seconds. So this is the very first episode I saw, and after it, and I thought this was really funny. I'd like to go back and get to know the characters. Luckily, that Thursday, the upcoming Thursday, they were showing it on like a marathon on NBC, and so I was able to catch up. And I have loved it ever since.
Look, I think it's funny. He can't operate his phone.
Would you go to Annie's party, given the opportunity?
I don't know. Annie seemed a little too excited about it.
You knew Annie in high school and in college, probably, I imagine. The Annies of
Like-
the world.
Oh my gosh, this is my party,
Here's something that...
and it's for extra credit. You gotta come.
Here, listeners out there, if you're not in college or you're ready to go into college, or if you are in college, grades in college do not matter. All you need is a C. C's will get you degrees.
Okay, I disagree with Andrew on that part. Your grades do matter.
You would if you got all C's, you would still graduate.
Well, you would, but I strive for all A's.
Did you ever make a cootie catcher in school?
No.
Did you ever
I never knew how.
Did you ever play with them, though?
Yes, but I never knew how to make them.
Did yours, tell you positive or negative things if you played
Oh,
with
it
them?
was always about, who you were going to marry and who was in love with you, and it was all about all that mushy-gushy stuff.
Do you remember somebody you got a cootie catcher that you hated?
No.
No.
Would you try to date your professor?
I don't know. I don't find her to be very attractive, so not her. But say,
You better watch how you answer this
I
question.
really
we
do.
just bought our wedding bands yesterday.
We did just buy. Me and Bernadette are getting engaged, or are engaged. We're getting married. If my professor was you, then I would date her in a second. Do you think her and Jeff make a good couple?
No.
What do you think of the Jeff-Britta relationship? I know you're
I'm tired of it.
I
want to see, I'm tired of the go-around. It's like a merry-go-round.
I liked it at first, especially during this first season, because I was... Well, side note, I like that. Shirley takes down Katherine Heigl, because I do not care for Katherine Heigl. But I was kind of, detoxing off of Jim and Pam and wanting more of that. Because Jim and Pam are the great love story of TV, or one of them. So I was like, oh, this will be great. And then I very soon got tired of it. I liked it in the sense of a story purpose, or when it was funny, but when it was... Leonard. But when it was
Do you
serious...
think he's going to the party?
I hope Leonard goes to the party. What do you think Leonard's going to go to to the party? A ghost. Just with the sheet?
Just a sheet and the eyes poked out.
Oh, I love that.
She's just awful demanding.
She is.
She's assertive, and which they just said the word assertive. That's probably why I used it. And just, very, you're gonna come to my party.
If you don't come.
I gotta know that I have to have that reassurance that I have friends.
That is a heartbreaking lie. This is the first party where people won't get home in time for the news. Especially since she's only 18, and what high school student gets home in time for the news,
Dude, I watched the news in high school.
I watched the news in high school too, but was it priority viewing?
Well,
No, that would be heartbreaking to hear. A few episodes ago, her mom said she wasn't pretty, and that's just insane. She's a very pretty girl.
Mm-hmm.
Troy is probably my favorite character. I was saying that earlier because I was an athlete in high school. I was also a big dork in high school. I'll freely admit that. But as Troy becomes closer with Abed, it opens up this nerdy side of him, and just he embraces it and just kind of gives up that life, and I very much understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I also very much understand Abed's obsession with pop culture, obviously because we're doing a podcast on TV. So those are probably my two favorites.
There's my favorite.
Would you marry Pierce?
Pierce.
Given the opportunity?
Sure, because he's got a lot of money.
This is probably one of my favorite things about Halloween episodes in general, is that you get to see your characters in costumes, and it really, accentuates
I'm
their
trying to figure out what
personality.
she is.
Britta?
Is she a hedgehog?
She's a squirrel.
She's a squirrel.
Yes.
Does she shake her bushy tail?
I don't think so. Unlike Annie, who...
Those are some big cookies over there.
I would love to go to a party with a cookie that big. That's your personal cookie, it seems. And somebody's not going to show up, so you could possibly get 2 cookies.
Yeah, because, who knew if Jeff was going to show up?
Right. Mexican Halloween, which apparently in the community world is a sexual position, in which we Googled that beforehand to see if we could say it on the show. We cannot say it on the show. So if you are interested,
you're curious,
you can Google it. Be prepared, though.
It's not in any means pleasant.
Abed as Batman is one of my favorite things. Just because I think he does... It's both funny, but it's like...
I think I'm going to talk like this the rest of the podcast.
This is me.
I am Batman.
Bernadette is not as familiar with pop culture. Do you know who Troy is right now?
Is he Michael Jackson?
No, he's Eddie Murphy.
He is Eddie Murphy.
Oh.
I don't know.
I like that Pierce, who's obviously in his 60s, would think the Beastmaster is still cool for some reason.
Okay, I thought he was Ben-Hur.
Ben-Hur?
Yes.
Ben-Hur is probably
I don't watch much television, Andrew.
I know. It's okay. Ben-Hur is one of mine and Bernadette's favorite movies, but when you get down to it, it's about 2 gay guys racing horses. Like, that's kind of it. That's not an insult against anyone. Do you think she looks like Urkel or Harry Potter?
I think she looks like Where's Waldo?
Starburns. Would you trust Starburns with, like, anything?
Well, no. Are you going to grow something like that for our wedding?
Some Starburns?
Yeah.
I have a beard. I could just shape them that way.
Shape them that way?
Yeah.
I wouldn't want stars. Maybe I would want triangles.
What about whales? What if I turned like whales? Then that could be whale burns. I just love how Pierce...
Maybe Chevy Chase should let his hair grow out like that and have a wild mane.
I don't know if Chevy Chase can grow his hair like that, out like that. Do you know what the Beastmaster is?
I have no clue.
The Beastmaster was a movie in the 80s. The 80s. And then it was like
a
TV
I was just
show.
born in the 80s, so...
It was a TV show in like the 90s that lasted for a season. He's basically Tarzan. He talks to the animals. He is a beast master.
So he just told him he's going to bring the hog around. I thought that was his moped.
It is. It's a moped. You don't call your moped a hog?
Well, no, because when I was like 5 years old, one of my brothers ran over me with a moped.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh, I'm okay. I'm okay.
I feel like every DJ needs to dress like Batman.
And then I just stood there and cried.
And you just cried?
Yeah. My mom came and picked me up.
Were they allowed to keep the moped afterwards?
Yes, they got in trouble.
Has this ever happened
why
to you?
is she wanting specifically Jeff Winger?
I don't know.
Do you
I
think she's
it's
got
just,
the hots for him?
Yes, definitely. See, this confuses me because they're just going to the cafeteria. Why are they on his moped? Have you ever been stood up for a dance ever?
No.
I was once. Not like at the full dance. Like I had a friend. She was like, "Oh, I'll dance with you," and then we never did. And I had a big crush on her, and I felt like Annie for a little bit. But that was a different time. If you do that at our wedding, I might cry though. Just right there in the middle of the dance floor.
Yeah. What if I choose to dance with someone else?
Oh,
What if it's
if it's Pierce Hawthorne, then yes.
Yes.
Nobody else. Would you? I don't know what he's expecting out of that.
Okay, that's not what I would have expected him to be dressed up as.
That's pretty sexy for like a faculty party, you know?
Mm-hmm. Like if we were having a faculty party and I wore that, because I'm a teacher, I would. Yeah, I would. I would be put in jail.
You're not wearing it around like your kids, though.
Well, no, but I would still be put in jail.
It's still highly unprofessional.
Okay, maybe I wouldn't be put in jail, but it is very unprofessional, even around your coworkers.
Have you ever had a prop with a Halloween costume like that? Like she has, that is so inconvenient.
No.
Oh, I hate
That's just a very weird costume in general. I wonder if she rented it or if she actually bought
Does she?
it.
Or maybe she made it. Maybe she's that type. She makes it. My mom made all our Halloween costumes. I have pictures of me in a giant turtle head as a Ninja Turtle. Like where my face was in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
It's Ovid as Batman. You can never go wrong.
Batman. And I thought it was Michael Jackson.
Do you find Grumpy Old Men to be hilarious? Have you ever seen Grumpy Old Men?
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
I like that Troy that's such a weird little aspect that they just opened up that Troy likes movies like that. Oh, man.
Oh.
That is a nice car for a professor at a community college.
But she's single and
Doesn't have kids, probably.
right.
And I like that he calls the owl Abed.
That's funny.
That's...
Is he meowing?
Chevy Chase is just... I mean... Chevy
He's
Chase
just
has
a
made
very
some...
talented man.
He's made some bad stuff, but when he's on, he's very funny.
Like, you think about, though, the actors of, like, his generation.
Yeah.
Like, you think about, like, him and Steve Martin.
Dan Aykroyd.
I mean,
Bill
just
Murray.
very talented men.
Yeah. Who can do multiple things.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray both have their Oscar nominations from, like, drama movies. Steve Martin is probably one of the funniest people you ever see. I never understood the little doggy thing when it comes to cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain that being from the country?
No.
Not at all.
No. I think it's more of a westward thing. Oh, gosh. Oh.
Apparently, in the initial script, she wasn't bringing in a hose. They found her trying to poop in her desk.
Do you think that Shirley would be capable of doing that?
Of pooping in the desk?
Yes.
Well, from what I understand is that Yvette Nicole Brown went to them and was like, I just don't think a respectable black woman would do that. And you got to give her props for that. You got to give her props for wanting to defend not only her character but her race, and wanted to be portrayed in a positive light while still doing that.
Well, and it's not even necessarily a respectable black woman, but any respectable woman.
Yeah, that's true.
Wouldn't do that,
I've always found this very weird that ex-husbands come and get their rings back.
If you did that, it would not be pretty.
Would I be losing certain things?
I don't know. It just wouldn't be pretty. I might make you, but I don't know. Although my hands keep swelling up to where Andrew can't get my rings off, so we might not ever have that problem. He would have to chop my finger off.
I think Shirley looks like Harry Potter. Oh, there you go. She just broke that weird Christmas award.
That's a little scary. I can understand why my friend there.
Why is she holding the skull like a baby doll?
Well, maybe she feels like it is.
That joke will never not be funny. In that and in Anchorman, just wherever it is, it's always funny. What do you think? Do you think that's like lettuce there? Is it frosting? It looks like lettuce.
I think it's frosting because it's cookies. It's cookies the tombstones are cookies.
I like how for some reason in Pierce's head, girls asking him about Sputnik is apparently like sexually a turn on for him. I will never understand that. But
Okay,
I like
I have
it.
a question. I thought like public institutions you weren't allowed to have alcohol on campus.
I don't know.
They're having alcohol at a faculty function. Like, I know, like, for my undergrad, I went to a public state institution.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't allowed to have alcohol on campus. Supposed to. Of course, we know people would always do that.
My school was a dry campus, and I was in a fraternity. That was not true at all. Everyone drank.
Mm-hmm.
But I imagine, like, at a faculty party, it would be okay. And I mean, they're in college. It's not like it's at
But,
high school.
Here's the thing, though. Like, public state institutions receive money from the state. So I think that's part of why they can't have alcohol on campus. I'm not totally sure on that one, but I think that's part of it.
I think this is why I don't care for this character so much. The idea that begging for sex works on her. Obviously, it's not a good part on Winger's part, because, you don't want that. That's not attractive in anybody. Mm-hmm. But that she is like, oh, of course, he begged for it, it's all right. It just doesn't seem... I just don't find it to be a good character trait or quality.
They just happened to see him walking by. They just happened to know at that time he was walking by.
I love that Jeff is the only one who can help, and they acknowledge that. He's the only one who can save us all. Obviously, Community it's two words. It's the college aspect of this, the fact that this small group of people are becoming a family. And I think this is that episode that really, kicks off the series of that. You see them growing closer through the first 5-6 episodes, but this is, I think, the big time in which you see Jeff give up something he really, really wants for this group of misfits.
That is totally awesome.
I would live in that. That's where I want us to honeymoon, and Pierce's chair for it. That is incredibly dangerous.
Okay, I have a feeling that Aruba is going to be a much better honeymoon location than that chair fort.
This revelation that Pierce never saw Beastmaster, he just wanted to be cool. He really is just out of touch with society. Do you think we could build that in our hotel room?
Maybe.
We're gonna at least try. We're gonna try.
Okay.
If you've never built a blanket fort, anyone, I suggest you do it because it's awesome.
Well, we used to do it all the time when I was a kid.
There is a Community episode in which they build a blanket fort. There are 2 episodes of it, and it's awesome.
I always loved it when it was raining. One time I did that, and I fell asleep under it. Mm-hmm. And I was at my grandparents', and my grandmother didn't know where I was, and she was freaking out.
The giant pillow fort, was it or blanket fort?
I did it in the basement.
Oh my gosh.
And she didn't know where I was, and then she had my cousin come up to find me.
Here's Batman saving the day.
Just happened to be there.
You know what? That's a heroic shot.
But look how scrawny he is.
That's a guy that couldn't. That's a guy who could not play Batman, but probably should.
To be able to pull them, he would have to have muscles.
Yeah.
Do you think they were on little wheelie boards?
I'm sure. I don't even know if it was Chevy. Well, you see Chevy's face, but Chevy famously has a stunt double that goes with him on every shoot now. He's been doing it for 30, 40 years.
Really?
Yeah. He has a stunt double, he has a stand-in, and then he has something else. I can't remember.
That's why I thought it was Michael Jackson.
Because he's the man in the mirror?
He's the man in the mirror.
That's pretty good. I never thought about that.
See? He's holding the mic. I'm starting with a man in the mirror.
This is probably my favorite Batman speech, or at least making fun of that. That's the thing you never think about, that Batman would have to use chapstick or stuff like that. Mm-hmm. For those who've seen Community, this is where I feel the Troy Abed relationship congels. It forms completely, because their friendship is one of my favorite things about this show and about this just in TV in general. I think it's great. Would you eat yourself if you woke up a donut?
Yeah. I wouldn't want a mold.
What kind of donut do you think you'd be?
A glazed one.
I would want to be chocolate with sprinkles.
I would just want to be original glazed.
If you would eat yourself if you woke up a donut, I want you to put that in the comments below. and just tell us, because I think that's a very big philosophical question we need to ask ourselves. That was bullcrap. So episode over, Bernadette. 7 episodes into the show. What did you think of the episode?
I liked it.
Scale, like if you had to give it A, B, C, D, or F. A. I'll give it like a B.
I wish it would show more of my friend Pierce.
But does that make you interested in seeing Beastmaster a little bit now?
Yes.
All right, people, go watch Beastmaster. I would give it a B, just because I know when I first watched it, I would give it an A. Now that I know what Community is and can be, I would give it a B, just because I know it's getting there. But it's pretty good. Pretty good. Are you ready to watch some more?
Yes. Okay,
well, we're gonna leave and watch some more. I'm Andrew, and this is Sitcoms Anonymous, and my awesome host is
Bernadette.
Yeah, what? Hopefully we'll get back to you soon. Sean and I should be back with you possibly soon. Bernadette and I might be back with you a little sooner. The next 2 things we will be watching, just so you know, are the pilot episode of Breaking Bad, one of mine and Bernadette's favorite shows. And then Sean and I will be back with you watching The Reigns of Castamere, the season 3 episode of Game of Thrones. And if you don't know, spoiler alert, Red Wedding. So we'll see you then. I'm Andrew with Sitcoms Anonymous, and we just are here to tell you, get addicted to TV. Bye.
Dancing in your underwear, taking air conditioner repair, so you can get a job. Greendale's the way it goes. Some things are still the same. Slop pails and pantyhose. Oh, and he believes in me.
I love that part.